It is May 13th, 2026, a little after 4:30. I just watched episode 7 of season 5 of The Boys, and holy shit. It's so good. Like, I feel like everything from season 4 and this entire season was development for this finale, because again, I'm surprised that nothing really big happened this episode. Like there were some big moments. There was definitely, like, I mean, honestly, this last episode is like I think the only episode I've like teared up because of how lovely and poignant it was at the end of it. But like there were some moments, but it you know, because of like what this show was in the beginning, the first 3 seasons, and how many. It's not that this show needs the action, it's that like we need the big fights, and something tells me this last episode is going to have like a lot of big fights and a lot of big moments, because well, as I was watching this, I was like, this is so reminiscent of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Very funny, very like character driven, and some good like story happening, but nothing very eventful till the very end. You know, it's definitely not. I mean, that's the one Tarantino movie I've not like rushed to rewatch. I don't think it's my favorite of his by any means. Solid flick though, but that's how this season has felt. It feels like it's all like spending time with the characters, and it's got a lot of funny moments still, and you know, but it feels like this finale is going to be a big fucking episode, or it's going to be arguably the biggest of the series, because I'm just shocked we haven't seen more of it. Like I've said, I don't know if I said it in the last week or whatever. I'm surprised that not every episode has been like big. Like this last season, I assumed it was going to be like part 1 and 2 of the Deathly Hallows movies of Harry Potter. Where it was just fucking firing off the entire time. I thought that that's what this last season was going to be like, at least, because I mean, it's The Boys. It's arguably Amazon Prime's like big, like it's like it's probably Prime Video's biggest show ever. You know, this and Invincible, these like anti-hero superhero shows, I'm all about it. I'm all about like, you know, dark superhero shit, because it's so opposite of the cliches of superheroes that we're so used to seeing. And I like superhero stuff. I'm just not as crazy about it as like my dad is, or a lot of other people are, because it's so repetitive. You know, superhero stuff and all that shit there's only so much you could do with that genre, you know. But these shows, The Boys and Invincible, were always they stand out because of that twist that's put on. I always want to see something that's like, okay, it's this, but not really, you know. But this last episode this most previous one was, it's so tense. Like, even though there aren't these big fights, there are so many tense moments. Like, you're legitimately like really scared of Homelander. Anthony Starr, I mean, my God, I'm amazed that I just watched him in Banshee, and he was like this hero, like badass, really amazing character that is flawed and is an adrenaline junkie criminal in a lot of ways. But you know, he's not perfect either, but he's like so heroic in a lot of ways, or tries to be heroic. And in this one, I mean, fuck, like Homelander is probably the greatest antagonist I've ever seen in that type of story ever. I mean, and his performance as Homelander is one of the greatest things I have ever seen in television, because of how good he is at making you actually fucking scared of him. Like, I am not even in this world, not even a part of it, and every scene that he's in, especially when it's him and like maybe one other person, you are like shaking in your britches there. You're really fucking, like, he is just extremely anxiety inducing in that way, and you feel this constant just like tension and worry for the other characters. You legitimately feel worry, and that's amazing. That's an amazing performance. Very similar to like how Tywin Lannister felt in Game of Thrones, just so intimidating. You know, these intimidating antagonists are my favorite, because that's how villains are supposed to be. Villains are supposed to be, you know, where even if you can understand them, you should be legitimately afraid of them, or legitimately freaked out by what they are, the nature of what you know, how powerful and how they represent, you know, evil incarnate in all those ways. And it's supposed to be scary. And I love that Homelander scares the shit out of me still. But I'm obviously not only waiting for a big fight between him and Soldier Boy, him and everybody else, and why I'm excited for this last episode, because if it's not a big one, I'm gonna be really shocked. But it's got to be like, some shit's got to happen, right? And again, only because this show was had banked off of that. So like so much of the first 3 seasons, it's like every episode was a big moment. And even though I haven't been crazy about the constant build-up and them feeling like they're filling up time to leading up to this last episode, even though I'm not crazy about that, I love it still. And I think it's actually really, if it's all build up for something really grandiose in the end, then it'll be a good payoff. But I really thought at least this second to last episode was going to be a little bigger. I thought it was going to be like a little, and at the same time, the fact that it was very, I'm not going to say anything, but at the very end of the episode, it was so quiet and so poignant and emotional, and I thought that was so lovely too because of how different that was for this kind of show. Well, I love these characters, really. Is really what I mean. Carl Urban as Billy Butcher is probably one of the, just like Homelander, those are the 2 greatest casting decisions of any television show I've ever seen in my life. And obviously, you know, all the other characters are lovely. Every single one of them. I love every single one of these characters. Mother's Milk and Kamiko and all of that. Like, I love all of them. And I guess it's nice to spend all this time together and get to, but it's gonna hurt really badly when we watch all of them probably die. And I'm just like, fuck it, man. And I'm wondering if maybe that's why they were filling it up. They don't want to, like, you know, they want to, like, save. It feels like they're going to save every one of those big moments and all of those big, you know, main character deaths for this last episode, because there's no way they're not going to, like, follow through with the final battle. So the final battle is what I am absolutely ecstatic about and looking forward to. And, yeah, The Boys is regardless of how this finale is, regardless of how this ending is, I tell myself every single time I'm finishing a story, especially a show that's still airing, whatever, I've been enjoying the journey, I've enjoyed the ride, and it's been really fun. Movies and TV are just so fun and exciting. Also got to mention, it's been raining outside, and I really don't feel like bringing the camera around all over the place today, because I gotta go help my dad with some stuff. He's like been moving, and yeah, just like go and help him move some stuff or whatever the hell he needs. Yeah, I don't feel like carrying this shit around. So you guys get to stay at home the entire time, but I will be back later and maybe play some music or do something for you all. I promise. Gotta entertain. I have to perform for everybody forever. Whoop. We just helped my dad move some stuff, some small things. Got sushi afterwards. I just wanted to take a moment to show how much I really love and appreciate my parents. I'm very grateful that they're alive and not too old just yet. They're both so intelligent in their own ways. They're such different people. I'm surprised that they not only ended up together, but that they had me, because I feel within myself how different they both are is all, and I feel myself constantly like, you know, juggling just a couple of different, you know, not literal personalities. I just feel my main self being pulled in different directions sometimes. That's how that feels, at least. But yeah, my parents are so different. It's funny talk. It was just me and just them, and, you know, just me and them too. And I really love how I just love talking to them. I love having conversations with them, and they're very, very social in that way, and very. I love listening to them in a lot of ways. I love hearing what they have to say. You know, for the most of the time, I love keeping an open mind or trying to pay attention to them. I think it's so important to be present, give people that attention while they're talking. But I'm surprised my parents aren't more into putting their thoughts on the internet. Thank God they're not. That's what we were talking about too. We ended up talking about a little bit about politics, but just mainly like how a lot of things are nowadays, and just how people are now. And like my dad was making this point where of all the sci-fi books that he read, he was such a sci-fi nerd growing up, and all the stuff he read, like none of them ever predicted social media's impact on people, or just how much that's irreversibly and unfortunately affected our political climate and in the state of our world, and just how much misinformation is spread, and how fucking stupid people are, how they're so dumb that they'll actually, you know, believe it. They'll actually believe whatever they see, which is where AI gets scary, because people are already fucking stupid. Who's to say they're not going to believe every single thing they see, whether it's AI or not? That doesn't, you know, the validity of things or the actual truth is so blurry nowadays, even though it's right in front of everybody. It's very strange. It's very strange to live in a time where there's all this objective truth and people still believe whatever they want to believe. And that's just fucking bonkers. But yeah, we were talking about a lot of that. My dad was smoking a couple of cigs my mom my mom was tired, didn't get much sleep, so she left at some point, and then my dad and I were just talking while he smoked a couple of cigarettes, and it was I really do just love to hear what they both have to say, because they come from such different like pasts as well. Like they're both their upbringings are so different, but they are so similar in a lot of ways. Like the way that they, even if they're talking about even if they have different opinions on things, it's like the way that they feel and think about it about their own biased points of view can be very similar, you know? So as far as how I feel about that, I feel like I've gotten such a wide range of different things that I've learned from both of them, and at the same time I've also had to shape my own thoughts and opinions, or try to shape my own thoughts and opinions on things outside of both of them as well. And that might be why you might see me struggling with what I'm trying to say, or, you know, sometimes I find myself playing like it's like there's a ping pong match in my head a lot of the times on which path do I follow at the crossroads, you know, kind of thing. When you're at an impasse or whatever. So it's kind of, it's a, you know, those are the pros and cons to it, I guess, is to having parents that are such different people is all. As I you know, am exposed to a lot of different things, which is good. However, that's what forces it, you know, for better or worse, that's what forces me to shape my own path outside of it, so that I'm not banging my head against the wall. So I'm not like getting frustrated and not being able to make up my mind or make a decision on how I feel about things, shaping my opinion. Maybe that's why when I do have an opinion about something, I try to be so definitive about it and have you know, a strong conviction with it, and I just want to be so like dug into the ground with it, because I have a lot of, so sometimes I struggle with having an opinion on things, or thinking that anything is definitively one dimensional in that way. You know, I don't think anything is just one thing. In my head, like everything has got all, so everything is multifaceted, and everything has you know, outside of the natural world. I'm purely talking about thoughts and ideas and the way that like things shape society outside of the physical world, because reality in the physical world is so objectively, you know, in our face with how much we have to accept it. Like, we can't deny gravity. There are still people that are like flat earthers, but the funniest fucking thing is anytime they try to do experiments that prove themselves right, they end up doing the opposite. Like, there are literally people that are flat earthers that do experiments that prove that the earth is not flat. And it's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, I just wanted to take a moment to talk about my parents in that way, and as far as how unique they both are, and you know, how wedged into their own personalities they are too. Like, they're very locked in, but still, I could still have a conversation about, you know, when I talk about certain things like my music or whatever. What I love is that they are so receptive to my stuff too, and receptive to what's going on, and they try to help. It was such a lovely moment. I was telling them about how the album's almost done, and I have all these ideas, and then they started getting excited about, or started talking about, you know, what I should do with it and what I should do with my album, how I should promote it, how I should go about it. And all of a sudden, the three of us were talking about that for like 20 or 30 minutes, and that was amazing. That was an amazing moment to feel like I'd seen an immediate reaction from my parent. I felt myself like so comfortable in them supporting me, and it was just like another moment of like, oh my God, yes, like these are the people that have supported this from the get-go. My parents are the reason I'm able to do this at all. And it's that moment of remembering that, or you know, the just the reminder of their support in real time, I suppose, was so just such an amazing feeling. Not a lot of people get that. Most people don't get that ever. Most people don't get one parent supporting their fucking artistic dreams, let alone both. I am so stupidly fucking lucky to have my parents. Stupidly lucky. And I am, maybe that's why I can't walk away from music, or I feel myself like not being able to let go or walk away from what I believe is what I'm meant to do on this earth, which is to be creative and to make music. The reason I can't just walk away from it or not think anything of it is because they've supported me this whole time, financially and just as parent, just from a loving standpoint, supported my dream to do this. Because they're like that is where I'm so stubbornly like it has to work. I have to succeed. I have to make a bunch of money, and I have to be that person. I have to be that person that makes it. And I was just I was really appreciative of that, because I'm at an age too where I feel like I could talk to them as equals, and it felt like, I think tonight was the first time I've talked about my music career with them, and it felt like three equal adults. I think when I was younger, I took it so personally, all of their, not even criticisms, but anything that they were trying to like steer in a specific creative direction, I'd be like, no, this is mine, and that's why they kind of backed off for a while. But I'm totally open to getting help, and I care about this album that I'm releasing, and it's important enough to me that I want every help, any bit of help from every person that I know, from everybody that I know, like as much as possible, because that is a big part of what makes things happen is groups. I'm trying to remind myself, or keep that alive in my head, of like, you need people and you need groups to really go far, and I do want to go far, but that was, tonight was like the first moment in my entire career as a musician where I felt like we were talking about it as three equals, and it was, and the most important part was making sure that the album, like, we just kept putting that, like, the album and the music and my, all of a sudden my music career felt like the opposite of what you see most musicians say, of like when people say, oh, how's your little music, people like to make those jokes. A lot of musicians, first of all, if you're a musician, you make that stuff, Stop making musicians look like they're a bunch of like losers and nobody gets us. No one understands the struggle of being a musician. That's such a stupid fucking joke. It's very repetitive. And it's not true. There are a lot of people that have like, a lot of support, or people I have so many people have told me they're like, they are so like not only in admiration that I'm trying to do, but they're so, yearning for like something like that. Like, a lot of people look at what we musicians are doing is like, wow, like they didn't have to stop doing their hobby even as an adult. Like, a lot of people that once you start working and once you just like start to create a life, your hobbies become so in the background, and people don't think about fun anymore. Even when they are having fun, it's like got to be some sort of beneficial, productive thing, like, oh, I'm playing pickleball, it's because I'm getting exercise, like that's why I'm doing it, because I can't just have fun playing pickleball, I have to create some sort of gain out of it. So a lot of people think so much about gain and like leave these simple like fun things behind, but what I love so much about, so what I mean is like I've gotten a lot of that too, like people like, oh man, I used to play guitar and I really miss it, and I say, you should do it again, I'm always telling people, like, I hate when people say, oh, it's too late, or they completely give up on the things that they love to do, or their hobby. I purely mean hobbies. Dreams are like dreaming big and wanting superstardom is a whole other thing. That's not necessary when it comes to having fun with music. I've had fun with music my entire career and my entire life, just in general. And I've survived off of it in a lot of ways, and I've made some good money here and there with it, but, I've just enjoyed it. I just love music. It's fun and therapeutic and escape, and it's got a lot of things like that. But I think it's just so silly when people say, and I'm saying, obviously, I'm not everyone has parents like mine, I'm fully aware of that, but it's just such a silly thing to accept that, like I'm sick of that trend nowadays, or that that joke that everybody makes, where it's just self-deprecating musicians. Stop being a bitch. Stop being like such a like, you're undermining your own. You're basically like saying that you're just like everybody else by posting content like that, is what I'll say. Anybody that posts like self-deprecating, and I think I've done that, we've all done that at one point, but I'm saying people that actually consistently make content about how hard it is to be a musician, how hard it is to like struggle and do all this shit. It's just silly. It's silly because you're sitting there spending time complaining about your career not being where you want it to be instead of like actually writing good songs or trying to like just make something that's cool and make something that will naturally attract people, hopefully. At the end of the day, your work is never defined by other people's judgments or scores or opinions. It's you know, it's a beautiful thing if anybody's making things without AI at this point. To me, you're already winning. You're already significantly more interesting and a lot more talented and better than every other artist out there that is using AI or trying to make music which is purely AI. It's fucking silly. It's so silly that people think that that's gonna be worthy of anybody's attention compared to like even the worst musician ever in the world that I can't stand making bullshit music has more value than somebody making something with AI. That's a fact. And even here's my thing. I don't think anybody, I've said plenty of times that a lot of people's music sucks, but to me the only people that suck are the people that don't try at all. A lot of people in the South Florida scene, a lot of musicians around here, even if I don't fuck with their music and I don't like the way they sound, like even if I don't like them at all and don't think that they're talented, I don't think that they suck because I appreciate them trying. I think unfortunately, you know, what sucks is their, you know, lack of a natural ability as much as other people. That's the only difference. Is there are people that have natural ability with just anything in life. I wasn't a natural athlete or into skateboarding or fucking I wasn't a brain. Like I was in gifted classes as a kid, but was the dumbest fucking kid in every class because I was bad at paying attention and it was all very boring to me, so I just kind of clocked out and I felt very stupid around all those advanced classes students. I still feel very, very stupid, but my brain just works differently. I'm not dumb. I don't care about the you know, black and white book smarts aspect of things. Unless I was doing something like for trivia. That's the only, unless it was like there was money at stake. If someone told me, hey, like you're going to be quizzed on this and you can win $100 million, you're against a bunch of other people that are around your level of intelligence, of course I would try to learn a bunch of shit and win that money. But again, that's not really, no one cares about how much you know. So really, I personally think that the knowledge that we all have or the information that we retain, unless it's like we absolutely need to, you should always be aware of what's going on in the world. That's a different story. I'm talking about purely like what you desire to be intelligent with. I think is pure like just I think it's a subconscious thing or not. I think people are going to want to learn about things that they like, and they're not going to care about things that they don't. They're not going to pay attention at all. Like I don't give a fuck about learning how to do math formulas, mathematical formulas and shit. Like I know, even though it's good for the brain, it's just like that doesn't do anything for me personally. That does, besides that flexing that muscle of the brain, which I get when I play music and I do literally anything else like that. You know, I'd rather read a book than do it. What I mean is anything I'm not interested in, I just don't give a fuck about, and I don't use my brain to learn more about it because I'm not interested in it. But especially nowadays, the you know, knowing minimally what's going on in the world is kind of important. So that's anyway. I forget what I'm getting at with all of this, but I don't think that anybody in the arts specifically and with music, I think that the only people are wasting everyone's time. The only people that suck, as I've said in the past, and as I've said just a lot in my life, how much I'm a hater, how much I hate people's music. I honestly don't think that anybody sucks unless they're not trying that hard at all. That's what pisses me off, is just a lack of effort from a lot of people. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I think a lot of people like literally don't try at all. Because you can hear the difference. You can feel the difference with the people that try and the people that don't try. And that's it. That's all it comes down to. Either way, you know, I'm super grateful for being able to do everything that I do in my life, but I literally don't care about anything else. As you can see, as you're watching this vlog, you know, if you are watching these every day, you know, I don't really do much outside of this. And it's not only because most things are just kind of boring to me outside of playing music and recording videos and stuff, making short films, whatever the fuck I like to do. Outside of that, everything else is just extremely pointless to me, or a waste of time. And at the same time, this is just these years of my life. This is just how I feel right now, and this is just because these are I'm realizing like, oh, this is the last bit of that youth, that youthful energy that I have. Like once I hit 40, I won't have that same energy. that I'm really just trying to take advantage of and stay, you know, stay in that energy level as much as I can, stay in that like youthful mindset at least for as long as I can, because I think that's very important. But I guess that's why all this stuff is so important to me. Like everything else seems so insignificant outside of like, what am I doing to make stuff and be creative? Like what am I doing to what am I doing that's going to be working towards my goal is all I'm kind of focused on at the moment. Like everything I do is focused on moving forward or getting to the place that I want to be in my life. And in a lot of ways, I don't even know if I've found like where I'm supposed to be in life outside of playing music. Maybe that's why I'm trying to do this stuff, is because I don't know, I've tried to do all sorts of things with YouTube and nothing's ever really blossomed. But that doesn't really, I don't know, that doesn't really matter to me anymore. Like it doesn't matter if it happens or not. I think it's just cool to do stuff for the sake of it, and I'm just kind of enjoying not thinking about what I'm doing. I just kind of want to go. I just want to like act. I think for a while I was like thinking about doing things, and now I only want to actually like follow through with things and follow through with all the ideas that I have and all the things that I want to accomplish. Like it's that simple. I feel like if you really want to do something, you want to do music, you want to like be good at something, you're gonna do it. And then there's everybody else that says they want it, but they don't really care. You know, the people that want to say they want to make movies, they want to act, they want to make music, they want to write stuff, like they want to do this and that, and they don't do it though. They don't ever. This right here is I'm still practicing like speaking in front of the camera. I'm practicing getting more comfortable with watching myself if I watch this footage back. Even with these little nothing videos, I'm learning a lot actually, or I'm getting comfortable with a lot of things, and I'm getting used to the exercise of it. The practicing and the working part is the best because of how much you're getting out of it. So I find it so fucking laughable at how many people say they want to do things and they don't do them, you know? And then everyone wants to say, you know, a lot of people, you know, will always come up with a reason to not, instead of just like, instead of just going. Like I don't understand why like the pushing the button or taking the first step, crossing go and getting that, you know, hitting that flow of it. I think just that first step is like a lot for some people. And I don't know if it's because they genuinely don't want to do it or if they're afraid of what will happen. Like myself, I think a lot of people are afraid of what will happen if they do like it and they do get good at it and they do succeed off of it. I think a lot of people are afraid of the vulnerability that follows a lot of that. I'm a very vulnerable person, and even I'm deeply afraid of being as vulnerable as I could be. I don't know, maybe this first album is the first real bit of vulnerability that I think I've shown with my music, which is maybe why it's so important to me, is it's just very honest to the point of like, I'm uncomfortable if people hear some of the lyrics that I have, and I will be uncomfortable with the thought of some people listening to them, what they'll think of me. Oh God, it's not even that, it's so, I feel very naked on this album, and this record feels very just so me that it's opening up a whole. You're becoming a balloon that people can easily pop if they wish to. It's kind of how it feels sometimes. Being an artist sometimes feels like you're in this hot air balloon, and all the critics, everyone that's an audience member that can judge the shit out of you, it's like they're like God with this giant fucking toothpick, just able to pop like a God, just poking the littlest bit of your fucking hot air balloon in that, and then you just, you know, and then you die. But it just doesn't matter. It's like the like all of that's irrelevant. Every bit of like our fears with how people judge us when it comes to being artistic or creative is so irrelevant, because it's only all that stuff is literally distracting you from working and like work. Like I'm addicted to work and productivity with this stuff, and that's it. I've never felt more addicted to anything other than cameras and audio and music. And I'm just crazy about it. I love it. I love it so much. I need to do more with it. I need to do more with this stuff. I really want to. Like I feel like I'm doing a ton, and I put a lot of myself into it, and I put a lot out there, and it doesn't feel like enough still. It feels like I could put out hundreds and hundreds of songs and maybe 100 albums my whole life, and I don't know if that'll be enough. That's how, that's how much I want out of it. It's not even like I want to, like, I'm thinking about money and success as a means to an end to be able to just keep doing this. But I love I relate very much to, I'm not even comparing. I would never compare myself to him because he's like a god in my eyes. But Paul McCartney, like his work ethic and the obsession, that guy is just obsessed with songwriting. Way more than anybody else, even myself. I feel I'm pretty obsessed with songwriting or art and all this shit, but it's like, to me, it's like him and then David Lynch in the world of cinema. Of course, there are countless amazing directors and filmmakers, but David Lynch is like the most artistic, like kind of he was one of the most just, art for art's sake kind of personalities. Is like those are the two people that I kind of relate to most. And I still have to watch more of David Lynch's stuff, to be honest, but just listening to that man talk about cinema and talk about art is like, it will change your fucking life. So I look at him when it comes to just art as a whole, and specifically like cinema and how I kind of love like presenting things visually and vibey and whatever weird shit, or just kind of impulsive stuff. And then McCartney is like the work ethic I like to have with songwriting and just the work ethic with everything in general. So you have to be obsessed, beyond obsessed. You have to be like needing it. You need to I believe to flourish as a creative, you have to live and breathe this shit just as much as you're eating and drinking and sleeping. It has to become like a fourth absolute necessity. And I guess that's where I'm putting myself now. I was like, I have to write a song today, or I have to like get something done today. Which is, I think maybe what this vlog is like, I'm just forcing myself to stay on top of something creative or having to present something in some way, or just consistently, making something at all. Doesn't matter what it is. And like I've realized, if I don't have this, if I don't do something like this, I am so fucking miserable and bored, and I have no idea what to do with myself, and I have no idea what to do with my time. I'm trying to be on my phone less because that's a waste of time compared to everything else that I want to do. And I right now I have like all the equipment, and I have a space to do it in. Everything is like perfect right now for me to just milk the fuck out of my creative self and just like wring that cow dry. Like I really am excited to do so much of that in the next 5 years. Hopefully I live for the next 5 years. Anything happens. The only reason I bring up death so much is shit happens. People die at any age ever, and it's like so silly. So it's like crazy how anticlimactic it is, because I have all these things I want to do and all these plans, and my death could like just like that just happen one day randomly. Hopefully it won't. It probably won't, because I've been worried about my own death since I was like a teenager. I'm 33 now. I've been thinking about my death since I was like 18 or 19, and I haven't died yet. And I probably, I could make it to 50 or 60 years old, and I don't want to be worrying about death all the time. But I think the reason that I think about it constantly is because that's such a driving factor in everything that I do too. It's like, no, there's no time. I'm gonna die. I have to do it while I'm alive. I have to do it while I'm this age. Like I have to get it done. I have to get it done. I think not finishing college, dropping out of college, is why I'm so addicted to finishing things and finishing projects. Is because I didn't feel bad that I didn't finish college, but because I chose a different path, I've like doubled down on the self-discipline of it in that way, maybe. And I'm grateful that I was around a lot of other people that had that same discipline. Anyway, I don't want this battery to die while I'm in mid-sentence or whatever. So yeah, those are my thoughts on art. I love my parents to death. I love my parents so fucking much. Y'all have no idea. My parents are my best friends in the entire world, who've been there for me since forever. And I just am so happy that they are smart, well-rounded people who are really good to me and have shown nothing but support for my decisions, even though they were all very risky and very definitely added to my emotional well-being. That negatively added to my, it negatively contributed to my, my just everything, my life for a little while there. I guess attributed, whatever, you know what I'm saying. It was a there was a lot of downsides to pursuing music for a while, but it feels like it was all leading up to this album, and it feels like this it feels like what I'm doing now and for the next 10 years are going to matter the most in my life. I don't know why. It just feels like it's going to be very special, and I'm, I guess, wanting to not let it pass me by, and I don't want it to. I feel myself like needing to take advantage of that. I've like gotten rid of a lot of people that I didn't want to waste my time with, and the people that I do like are just, getting busy doing their own stuff and are going through specific phases of their lives that it's like perfect. I don't have a kid that's depending on me. I don't have a girlfriend or a wife that's like giving me shit if I'm not giving them attention. Not that they assume, that's just coincidentally all the relationships I have. I believe my next relationship I won't have to think about that, That's the thing too, is like, relationships and love, it's like if you don't find someone that really supports you with this shit like 100% and doesn't want you to live the life that you're wanting to live, then why would you want to be with them? It just doesn't make sense. So anyway, those are my thoughts on love, relationships, my parents, music, art, the world of creatives. If you're a creative, if you're like me, then I hope that any of this resonates with you, and I hope that we can work together someday. I hope that I would love to work with a lot of different people on a lot of different projects, so long as they want to, and so long as it's the work is what's being focused on, not the financial gain or celebrity or whatever. I think that's like all that stuff is just so irrelevant. There's so many things that are just so irrelevant when it comes to getting something out of yourself artistically. So yeah, I'll check in a little bit here. It's a little after 9. Damn, I was talking for a minute there. Much love to you all. See you in just a second here, probably with a song or two. I don't know if I'm going to write a song tonight. I'm going to try to, maybe a little even later tonight, but I haven't watched a movie in a while, so I really want to watch something. I think I'm going to watch this. Bought this a little while back. I've been meaning to watch it, and I've never seen it, surprisingly. So, yeah, let's watch. Review coming. So I actually ended up getting a little busy here, and I'm getting everything finalized with JP to send to someone else for mastering. We've been mixing, they do the master, and I'm really excited to say that this album could be done within, like it's probably going to be done within the week and ready for release in 2 weeks or something. It's going to be ready for release very soon, basically. And I'm oh my god, it's sounding pretty cool. So I'm surprised that it's a lot sooner than I expected it to be. I knew it was going to be soon, but not this soon. So I'm not going to write any songs. I'm just focusing on this with him still right now. We're still finalizing some stuff. And yeah. Wow. Getting a new project finally finished is the best feeling in the world. As much as it is like a mixed feeling too, when you're officially done with it and never have to do anything else with it. It's weird. It's weird finishing a song, or finishing an album, especially where you finish and release a bunch of songs at once. But yeah, I also watched Lost in Translation earlier and did a review on that. Felt kind of like self-conscious of what I was like, how I was wording some things, because I feel like I hadn't done a movie review in a while and just felt like a little rusty. I think at some points I made were alright, but like overall, I was thinking about it just now, just like, oh man, someone would probably like think I sound like an idiot on that video. I'm usually pretty high, and I'm usually like, especially when I do a movie review, it's like I'm still like processing the whole movie, that sometimes it's hard for me to, find the right words or find the right way to express how I feel about it, because I'm still kind of coming down from it, you know. So anyway, that's it for this vlog. All at home and just some of my random thoughts for the day. I hope it's interesting, or that you know, that anybody finds like they can if anybody can appreciate what these videos are, what these vlogs are doing, then I sincerely appreciate you, and I think that you're awesome for being here with me, because this feels very personable, not only personal but personable. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome, if you are.